Hello and welcome. Today's update is especially important for seniors, retirees, and anyone living on a fixed income. If you or someone close to you relies on Social Security, supplemental security income, Social Security disability insurance, Veterans Affairs benefits, or a pension to cover monthly expenses, this is information you'll want to hear carefully. Over the past several weeks, there has been a growing amount of confusion, stress, and conflicting information circulating online and through word of mouth. Many older Americans are asking the same question again and again. Are new stimulus-style payments really beginning on January 17th? And if so, who actually qualifies? In this update, we're going to slow everything down and walk through the situation calmly and clearly, so you understand what is confirmed, what is being misunderstood, and how this may realistically affect your household. Over the past few months, the financial pressure on seniors has continued to intensify. Rising prices for groceries, housing, utilities, insurance, and medical care have stretched fixed incomes thinner than ever. Many retirees are finding that even careful budgeting is no longer enough to keep up with everyday expenses. Monthly benefit checks that once covered basic needs now fall short before the month is over. Because of this growing strain, lawmakers and federal agencies have been under increasing pressure to provide targeted relief, particularly for older adults, people with disabilities, and veterans. These pressures are what have led to renewed discussions around financial support measures and why certain dates, including January 17th, have gained so much attention. One of the most important things to understand is what people actually mean when they talk about a stimulus payment in early 2026. Unlike the large universal stimulus checks issued during the pandemic years, today's relief efforts look very different. Current payments are far more targeted and are often not officially labeled as stimulus checks. Instead, they may appear as direct deposits, supplemental payments, cost of living support, state-issued rebates, or temporary federal supplements tied to existing benefit programs. Even though the name has changed, the goal remains the same: to help vulnerable households cope with higher living costs. For many seniors, one of the biggest concerns is whether they need to apply or take action to receive these payments. In most cases, the answer is no. If you already receive Social Security, supplemental security income, Social Security disability insurance, or Veterans Affairs benefits, eligibility is typically determined using information the government already has on file. This includes your benefit status, income records, and past tax information. The system is designed this way to reduce paperwork, prevent missed deadlines, and protect older adults from unnecessary stress. This is especially important for seniors who may worry about complex forms or navigating online systems. Now let's talk specifically about the January 17th date, which has caused a lot of discussion. January 17th is not a universal payout date for everyone, and it does not mean that every senior will receive money on that exact day. Instead, it marks the beginning of processing and distribution for certain relief-related payments affecting specific groups of beneficiaries. From that point forward, additional payments continue rolling out over the days and weeks that follow, depending on eligibility and the program involved. For seniors receiving Social Security retirement benefits, regular monthly payments still follow the standard schedule based on birth dates. However, some beneficiaries may notice an additional deposit or adjustment connected to cost of living relief or state-administered programs that coordinate with federal systems. These extra payments are often processed in mid-January, which is why the January 17th date appears in many official processing timelines and internal schedules. For those receiving supplemental security income, commonly known as supplemental security income, January is always an important month. Supplemental security income payments are typically issued at the very beginning of the month, but when supplemental assistance or special adjustments are approved, they are often sent separately. Some supplemental security income recipients may see additional support tied to inflation relief or emergency assistance programs, and these payments can begin appearing after the middle of the month rather than alongside the regular deposit. Social Security disability insurance recipients are also part of these discussions. Social Security disability insurance benefits follow a payment schedule similar to retirement benefits depending on birth dates. Because Social Security disability insurance recipients live on fixed incomes and face rising costs, just like retirees, many qualify for targeted relief. When approved, these payments are often processed automatically and may arrive alongside or shortly after regular monthly benefits without requiring additional paperwork. Veterans receiving Veterans Affairs benefits are another important group to mention. While Veterans Affairs payments operate under a different system than Social Security, coordination occurs when relief programs are approved at the federal or state level. Older veterans, disabled veterans, and surviving spouses are often included in these efforts. Depending on benefit type and state of residence, some veterans may see additional payments or credits reflected during January, even if the exact timing differs from Social Security deposits. A common concern among seniors is whether these payments are truly automatic or whether action is required. In most cases, if your benefit information is current, payments are issued automatically. There is no phone call to make, no website to register on, and no fee to pay. This approach is intentional and helps reduce the risk of scams targeting older adults. However, it is very important to ensure your direct deposit information is up to date. Changes in bank accounts, closed accounts, or recent switches from paper checks to direct deposit can cause delays. Another major concern is whether receiving extra money could affect other benefits. In most cases, one-time relief payments do not count as earned income for Social Security purposes. That means they typically do not reduce monthly Social Security checks. For supplemental security income recipients, special rules apply, but many relief payments are excluded from income calculations for a set period. This allows recipients to use the funds for essential needs without immediately risking benefit reductions. Taxes are another area where confusion often arises. Generally speaking, stimulus-style relief payments are not considered taxable income at the federal level. This has been consistent with previous relief efforts, and current guidance continues to follow that pattern. Even so, it is always wise to keep records of any extra payments received, especially for seniors who file tax returns or work with tax preparers. As information continues to circulate, it's critical to separate confirmed facts from rumors. Not every headline reflects an official decision, and not every social media post is accurate. Payments beginning around January 17th are tied to specific programs and eligibility rules, not a universal check for everyone. Understanding this helps set realistic expectations and reduces unnecessary anxiety. Eligibility remains the key factor in determining who receives payments. For federal relief connected to benefit programs, eligibility typically depends on the type of benefit received, income level, and sometimes household circumstances. Social Security retirees with lower overall income are often prioritized. Supplemental Security income recipients are frequently given special consideration because Supplemental Security income is designed for individuals with very limited resources. Social Security disability insurance recipients may also qualify, particularly those whose purchasing power has declined due to inflation. For veterans, eligibility depends on benefit category and income-based qualifications. Many older and disabled veterans are included in relief efforts, though timing and amounts can vary. The amount of money involved also varies widely. These payments are not designed to replace monthly income or solve long-term financial challenges. Instead, they provide temporary relief. Some seniors may receive a few $100s while others receive smaller supplemental amounts. Even modest payments can help cover groceries, prescriptions, or utility bills. Because some relief programs are administered at the state level, not every senior in every state receives the same amount or at the same time. This is why payments may begin on a specific date like January 17th, but continue rolling out afterward. Monitoring bank accounts closely is important, especially for direct deposit recipients. Relief payments may appear under different descriptions than regular benefits, which can cause confusion. Unfortunately, this period is also when scams increase. Government agencies will never call, text, or email asking for personal information or money to release payments. Anyone claiming they can speed up or guarantee payments is a red flag. Staying cautious and relying only on trusted sources protects you from fraud. Using any extra money wisely can also help reduce stress. Many seniors focus on overdue bills, medications, or essential household needs. Others set aside a small emergency cushion. There is no right or wrong approach, but prioritizing stability and necessities can bring peace of mind. As January continues, more updates and adjustments may be announced. Staying informed without becoming overwhelmed is key. Reliable information tends to be clear, measured, and detailed, not sensational. The most important takeaway is this: payments beginning January 17th are real for certain eligible seniors, but they are targeted, not universal. If you receive Social Security, Supplemental Security Income, Social Security Disability Insurance, or Veterans Affairs benefits and your information is current, you may qualify without taking action. Understanding how these programs work helps you protect your financial security and avoid unnecessary stress. Thank you for taking the time to stay informed, because clear information is one of the strongest tools you have for protecting your future. In the broader context, the economic landscape for seniors has been shaped by persistent inflation and rising costs across essential sectors. The price of housing, whether rent or mortgage, has climbed steadily, while utilities such as electricity, heating, and water have seen repeated rate increases. Grocery bills have become a significant burden, with staples like bread, milk, and produce costing more each month. Prescription medications and medical copays continue to rise, squeezing those on fixed incomes even further. Insurance premiums for health, auto, and home add another layer of financial strain. These cumulative pressures mean that many seniors are forced to make difficult choices between necessities, such as skipping meals or delaying medical care. This reality underscores the urgency behind relief efforts and explains why any news of potential payments generates such intense interest and hope. The discussions in Washington and state capitals have focused on crafting measures that provide meaningful support without overwhelming administrative systems. Lawmakers recognize that seniors are a diverse group with varying needs, from those living alone to couples managing joint expenses, and from urban residents to those in rural areas with limited access to services. Consequently, relief programs are often layered, combining federal initiatives with state-specific supplements. For example, some states have enacted rebate programs funded by budget surpluses, targeting low-income seniors regardless of their federal benefit status. These state programs may have their own eligibility criteria and distribution timelines, which can align with federal schedules like the mid-January processing date. This coordination aims to streamline payments and reduce confusion, but it also means that seniors should be aware of both national and local announcements. For Social Security retirement beneficiaries, the regular payment schedule is well established, with benefits deposited on Wednesdays based on birth dates. Those born between the 1st and the 10th of the month receive payments on the second Wednesday, those born between the 11th and the 20th on the third Wednesday, and those born after the 20th on the fourth Wednesday. Any supplemental relief payments are typically added separately, often appearing as a distinct deposit in the same bank account. These supplements might be labeled as economic relief or cost of living adjustment, and they could vary in amount based on factors like income or geographic cost of living indexes. It's important for seniors to review their bank statements carefully during this period to identify these extra funds and understand their purpose. Supplemental Security income recipients, who often have the greatest financial need, are usually at the forefront of relief efforts. Supplemental Security income is a means-tested program for aged, blind, or disabled individuals with very limited income and resources. Because of their vulnerable status, any additional support is crucial. In January, aside from the regular Supplemental Security income payment issued on the 1st, there might be a separate deposit later in the month, reflecting emergency aid or inflation relief. This second payment could be a fixed amount for all eligible recipients, or scaled based on individual circumstances. The timing after January 17th allows for processing these adjustments without disrupting the core benefit distribution. Social Security disability insurance beneficiaries who receive benefits based on work credits rather than financial need also face mounting costs. Many Social Security disability insurance recipients are under the age of 65 and may have dependents, adding to their expenses. Relief payments for this group are often integrated into the same payment streams as retirement benefits, but eligibility might hinge on factors like total household income or disability severity. Automatic enrollment ensures that those who qualify receive funds without additional hurdles, but it's advisable to confirm eligibility through official Social Security Administration communications if there is any doubt. Veterans Affairs benefit recipients include not only older veterans but also younger disabled veterans and surviving family members. The Department of Veterans Affairs administers a range of benefits, from disability compensation to pensions, and relief efforts may target specific groups within this population. For instance, veterans with service-connected disabilities or those below certain income thresholds might receive supplementary payments. These funds could be disbursed via the same method as regular Veterans Affairs benefits, such as direct deposit or mailed checks, but the timing might not sync precisely with Social Security dates. Veterans should monitor their accounts and the official Veterans Affairs website for updates. The automatic nature of these payments is a cornerstone of the design, intended to minimize fraud and simplify access. Seniors are not required to fill out applications or provide documentation unless there has been a recent change in their circumstances, such as a move or a change in marital status. However, maintaining updated records with the Social Security Administration or Veterans Affairs is essential. This includes ensuring that mailing addresses and direct deposit information are correct. If a senior has recently switched banks or closed an account, they should notify the appropriate agency promptly to avoid delays. Paper check recipients might experience longer wait times due to postal service variability, so direct deposit is encouraged for faster and more secure delivery. Concerns about benefit reduction are common, and rightly so. For Social Security retirement and Social Security disability insurance, supplemental payments are generally treated as one-time gifts or rebates, not as countable income. This means they do not affect monthly benefit amounts or trigger overpayment notices. For supplemental security income, rules are more complex, but most emergency relief payments are excluded from resources for up to 12 months, allowing recipients to use the money without penalty. It's always prudent to consult with a benefits counselor or legal aid service if there are specific questions about how extra funds might impact eligibility for other programs like Medicaid or housing assistance. Tax implications are another area of focus. Historically, stimulus payments have not been subject to federal income tax, and this precedent holds for current relief efforts. Seniors do not need to report these payments as taxable income on their federal returns. However, state tax rules may differ, so checking with a state revenue agency or tax professional is recommended. Keeping detailed records of all payments received, including the date, amount, and source, will simplify tax preparation and ensure accuracy. For those who do not typically file taxes because their income is below the filing threshold, no action is needed regarding these payments. Distinguishing between verified information and misinformation is vital in the digital age. Rumors can spread quickly through social media, email chains, and even well-meaning friends and family. Official sources include the Social Security Administration website, the Veterans Affairs portal, and state government sites. These platforms provide updates in plain language and offer contact information for questions. Seniors should be wary of any communication that pressures them to act quickly, requests sensitive data like Social Security numbers or bank details, or promises unrealistic sums of money. Scammers often exploit times of anticipated payments, so vigilance is key. The practical use of any additional funds can make a tangible difference in daily life. For many seniors, priorities include catching up on overdue rent or mortgage payments, purchasing nutritious food, refilling prescriptions, or covering utility arrears. Others might allocate a portion to home repairs or transportation costs. Building a small emergency fund, even if only $100, can provide a buffer against unexpected expenses. Financial advisors often suggest creating a simple budget for these windfalls, allocating percentages to immediate needs, debt reduction, and savings. Community resources, such as senior centers or nonprofit organizations, can offer guidance on managing finances during uncertain times. Looking ahead, the landscape of senior relief may evolve as economic conditions change. Further legislative actions could introduce additional support measures later in the year, especially if inflation persists, or if there are shifts in federal policy. Staying informed through reputable news outlets and official channels will help seniors adapt to any new developments. Engaging with local senior advocacy groups can also provide a voice in shaping future programs. The key is to remain proactive without succumbing to anxiety. focusing on controllable aspects like financial planning and fraud prevention. In summary, the payments associated with January 17th are part of a broader effort to alleviate financial hardship for vulnerable seniors. They are not universal handouts, but targeted aids based on existing benefit participation and need. By understanding the mechanisms behind these payments, seniors can navigate the process with confidence, secure in the knowledge that they are designed to be accessible and safe. The goal is to offer a measure of stability in uncertain times, helping to cover essential costs and reduce the stress that comes with financial insecurity. Thank you for taking the time to engage with this information, as knowledge empowers you to make informed decisions and safeguard your well-being in the months ahead.